Let's jump right into today's Dallas Cowboys mailbag. I am Tom Downey, and we got a super chat right off the bat here from Andres Gonzalez. What can we realistically get for La'el Collins, Michael Gallup, and Demarcus Lawrence realistically? I'll answer this two ways. One, right now before the trade deadline. For La'el Collins, maybe a good defensive starter, maybe a little bit less for that comparison for Michael Gallup right now. And Tank, he's hurt, so I don't think nearly what you would like to get. Now, next offseason, maybe a top 60 pick for Collins. Gallup's a free agent. And Tank, we will spend plenty of time on Demarcus Lawrence based on how the rest of this year goes, because a decision, a difficult one, is probably going to have to be made somewhere along that defensive line. From my main man, Mark, aloha. We can't, he clarified this super chat. He actually meant can't afford Gallup. Note on that, I think in the end, you can, technically speaking. You can make it work from a money perspective. But the real question is, should you try to afford Gallup? That means you might lose a Dalton Schultz, a key defensive player. That's the conversation going on since Dallas doesn't want to get too creative and go full-fledged New Orleans Saints with their salary cap. He also wants to know any real defensive tackles available to trade for. I think we are a dominant DT and an upgrade with cornerback Kelvin Joseph away from being a solid defense. Again, Brent Urban's heading to IR. DT remains a concern. We'll see when Tristan Hill and Neville Gallimore exactly come back. I would love to go get me Quinnen Williams. That seems a bit unlikely. Grady Jarrett certainly fits inside that category as well. Those are the two names you could certainly at least ask about, although we'll see. Also from Mark, Miss Slater is on it, and she has nicer hair than Tom. Hey, I'm just glad that my hair is thick and not thinning, so I'm going to count that as a win as far as I'm concerned. That's not the route I'm going to go. From Jim Laws, why the conjecture we know Dak won't allow himself to lose this game. I feel great when Dak Prescott is your quarterback, but I think it would be disingenuous to say, oh, this is an easy win, when I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the Cowboys win, but I also don't think they cruise to a victory over Minnesota. That's a pretty solid football team. From Kevin Kevinson, speaking of cruising, I guess, is the NFC East race over? Yeah, I mean, I think it pretty much is. In the same way, early last year, it was obvious that Dallas wasn't going to win the division because of injuries, which they almost kind of, sort of, wouldn't have mattered, found a way to do it. Dallas is 5-1 right now. Washington, Philly, New York, they're all 2-5. I think we've seen enough sample size out of these three teams to know the truth. They're not real playoff threats. Maybe they win 7 games. I don't think this Cowboys team is really that and shouldn't be that concerned about what these teams do. Frankly, you should be cheering a lot more about those teams beating better teams like the Packers, like the Bucks, like the Rams. Dallas's focus really, I believe, should be on getting the number 1 seed. Now, if you get the number 1 seed, that means you have won your division, so it's fine. Dallas is going to, I think, cruise to an NFC East championship. Maybe I'm counting my chickens before they hatch, but let's be real here. Those other 3 teams aren't very good. So with all that in mind, predict the Cowboys' record this year. They're going to win 13 games, 12 games. I think somewhere in that at this point, 10 at the absolute worst right now, but probably more like 11 or 12, up to 13, maybe not 14 quite yet. Seems to be the good win mark. So if you get the ad break here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Scroll down to the pinned comment and type your responses right there. From Raven Ruiz, do you see Kelvin Joseph as a key contributor as the season progresses? I wish I had a firm answer for you. I honestly don't know right now. I hope the answer is yes. I would love it if Kelvin Joseph showed a lot of flash and growth and promise as the year went on. But he hasn't really played much for Dallas since being a second-round pick. So he's kind of the wild card right now in that defensive secondary. Maybe he emerges, but I just don't know, given that he was a raw prospect coming out of Kentucky, if he's all the way there quite yet. A super chat now. I forgot to drink for some of the other ones. Hold on. Cheers. There we go. From Lenny V21. Would Dak have to lead the Cowboys to a first-round bye in order to win MVP this season? It's a really good question, Lenny. We've actually got some MVP odds if we want to go to that here. Dak is inside the MVP conversation. I think, and if you look at the odds, There's a very common theme here, right? He's all from BetUS, by the way. Kyler Murray leads the way. Then there's Josh Allen in there. Dak Prescott, Tom Brady, and Matthew Stafford. The trend there outside of Allen, 4 of those 5 quarterbacks play in the NFC. So I think whoever wins the NFC and gets the bye is going to set themselves up, if not 1A, maybe 1B, to win the MVP award. So I think that's a very astute observation. The way the MVP works, you guys got to end up winning a lot of games. The Cowboys and Dak Prescott have that opportunity. Now, if you want to bet on Dak Prescott to win NFL MVP, do it with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use the promo code you see on screen right here next to my shoulder. That is Cowboys125. It's chatsports.com/bet. The promo code is Cowboys125. Put this in perspective, right? You put down $100, they're going to give you an extra $125 for free. So take $10 of that bet and put it on Dak to an NFL MVP. If he does win, boom, extra $45 in your bank account just like that. Plus, of course, you get your $10 back. And if he doesn't win it, well, guess what? Of your extra $125 plus your $100, you're only down $10. You are literally playing, folks, with house money when you use BetUS. So head over to chatsports.com/bet. Just make sure you use that promo code you see on screen, Cowboys125, to get the 125% deposit bonus. From Julio, are you fully confident that Dak will play 100% healthy on Sunday Night Football against the Vikings? I'm at about a 70%. Maybe Dak's at like 90, 95, whatever it is. I am very confident he's going to be out there. I think that Dak's going to be just fine on Sunday Night Football. Super chat now from Jacob. Going to the Cowboys-Viking games this week. Awesome. Go Cowboys. How many awards does this team win? Parsons, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Prescott or Diggs for MVP. I think Diggs' best chance is Defensive Player of the Year. That he is in the running for alongside Myles Garrett. Micah Parsons might win Defensive Rookie of the Year because there haven't been that many elite defensive players, especially with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah out. Maybe Odafe Oweh's your front runner right now for the Ravens. Prescott could win MVP. I think he's also, barring injury, he is a lock for Comeback Player of the Year. No disrespect meant to Joe Burrow, but those are just my thoughts. Another super chat. I'm getting behind. Sorry, guys. From TJ, why hasn't Diggs made PFF 90 with all the INTs? I'm not sure what the PFF 90 exactly refers to, but I know his grade's low. That's because he routinely gives up a lot of yards on trying to beat the quarterback. He plays for stats, not team. I appreciate the super chat. This is stupid. There's no way around it. Playing for interceptions is playing for the team. Like, I don't understand this idea that, if he was playing for the team, he would have fewer interceptions? That doesn't really make any sense to me whatsoever. That's the play style. It's the aggressive play style that the team has encouraged. The idea that Diggs is only playing for stats isn't really accurate. I will make note PFF's yardage is much higher for Diggs allowed than others like Pro Football Reference. Diggs has been a great cornerback this year. Enjoy it. From Bust714, in my opinion, I think if we beat Arizona, that will really show we can go far in the playoffs and really hit the haters right on the kisser. Great phrase there, my friend. You play Arizona very late in the year. You may or may not be playing for anything at that point. Number 1 seed might be decided. So we'll see, but that will be a great potential NFC Championship game preview. Now, we'll be here the entire season, folks, and the offseason as well. So if you want Cowboys news, Cowboys rumors, these mailbags that we're doing live right now, hit that big red button and subscribe. That way you don't miss out on any video from us here at the Dallas Cowboys Report. From Mark again, aloha. We have 3 potential trade guys in Gallup, Collins, and Tank. I don't think you're trading away Tank right now because he's hurt. I don't think you trade away Gallup. Collins, let's see how this Sunday goes. Any realistic defensive tackle stud in next year's draft, we can move a nab. 2 names I like early right now. DeMarvin Leal, who I know is really more of a defensive end for A&M, but I think he'd be a better fit on the as an interior guy. And Jordan Davis out of Georgia. He fits the Fatties Only mantra. If you want a Vita Vea type of player, that's my guy. I don't know if you can get him. Maybe the lack of pass rush drops him down a little bit. But I love Jordan Davis out of Georgia. From Xavier Williams, who was also the name of a defensive lineman in the NFL, at least was, so kind of funny how that all tied in there. Do you think the Cowboys will make it to the Super Bowl this year? I prefer to not answer this question on the grounds that I do not want to jinx it. Now, their odds right now, we can show those here. Good job there, producer Jeff. Plus 900. So it's not outlandish in terms of their Super Bowl odds. Again, this almost matches the MVP one that we showed earlier. Kind of funny how that turned out. So I will choose not to answer on the grounds that I don't want to jinx it. From Charles Richard, how I choose to pronounce it there, will the Cowboys trade away a depth defensive piece, like a Dorrance Armstrong or something? I actually like this question. I don't know. The Cowboys are in a very awkward situation right now with where their roster currently sits. They've got a ton of guys coming back from injury. Now, they did just recently place both Maurice Kennedy and Brent Urban on IR in the short term. That does not fill all of the gaps on that roster. More roster moves are coming for Dallas. And once Demarcus Lawrence comes back, you might have too many defensive ends in the short term. Well, you doing something with Azur Kamara, Bradley, or Nye? Maybe if you get a decent offer, a depth piece that you don't think you need, you could move away. Then again, you don't always want to do that in case you end up needing the depth later on. You might see some moves coming in terms of Dallas sending players, cutting players, putting them on the practice squad. But roster moves are going to have to come. We actually broke down that video, or as a video, earlier last week. Now, you guys can let me know what you're thinking here. As the players come back from injured reserve, other players going to have to go. So name a player who you think is cut or traded. Get your votes in for me right now in the comments section. From Mark again, how much money do you save by trading away Lael Collins or Demarcus Lawrence? Let me pull up my spreadsheet here of all the information. So it's a bit outdated because it's just based on the beginning of the year. You trade Lael Collins right now, you actually only save about $1 million. Now, you save a pretty good amount next year. You save an extra $2 million, so not a whole lot of savings right now. If you were to wait till after the year ends, again, it's about $1.3 million. After June 1st, it gets a bit tricky. You save $10 million, so we'll see on Collins. I think for Tank, his contract is actually a bit tricky to actually move because you've backloaded it in the past. He's actually had a fairly cheap cap hit outside of this year. You save $17 million by trading him right now. That seems very unlikely that a team would take on that salary at this point. You trade him away next year, you save a pretty decent amount of money. The tricky part next year is going to be Demarcus Lawrence because if you want to pay Randy Gregory, that's going to be a decision they have to have in the offseason. From Daniel Crotty, what is the status of Will Grier? Practice squad, backup coming along, booming out. Back up right now, I'm not really sure where he's at in terms of learning the offense, which I think is not the easiest offense to pick up. Dak's been here for years, so it looks easy. I don't know exactly where Grier is at. He has a sponsor, though. Doug Nussmeier loves him, so I would say just be patient with Grier on that front. Pick the score for me of Cowboys at Vikings. Hopefully no Will Grier and maybe a singular kneel down for Cooper Rush is all the Cowboys need in that game. But get your votes in. We'll spend plenty of time talking about this game throughout the week. So let me know what you're thinking in the comments. Predict the score, Cowboys at Vikings. From Zaya Jafari, if I got that wrong, I'm terribly sorry. I wish the Cowboys could make a trade for Fletcher Cox. What do you think we should give up to get him ideally? I mean, I think you're looking for, in the end, like the value here is something that you'd get less than maybe a high day 3 pick, a low day 2 pick. Here's the problem, though. It's this. If you're Philadelphia, do you want to help the Dallas Cowboys out? If you're trading away Fletcher Cox, you'd probably be able to get a similar value from a different team than you would from Dallas. Those two organizations, they work pretty well together for divisional rivals, multiple draft day trades now, but trading one of your best defensive players to Dallas to help them win a Super Bowl, I don't know if that's the route that Dallas would actually go. From Julio, he actually answered this one earlier. Are you fully confident that Dak will play 100%? I think he's going to be just fine. Don't worry about it from that perspective if you are the Dallas Cowboys.